Na, sziasztok, hello! Dragosan nap királya, hello, meg szia Dank, meg Ceple, meg Takács, meg Puskás, meg Tagja, meg Tonyik, hello, meg Csácucú, meg Mike, meg hello. Nyugi. Sziasztok. Na, kemény vagy Takács, kemény vagy. Köszi szépen, de ez is most nem köszi szépen a 42-t, köszi szépen, szia Text Control, meg Quick, meg Beta Fanboy, Genkon is. Hello mindenki, hello. Meg Fityi, nem tudom ki maradt ki, hello. Köszi, szia Gazember, hello, meg szia Mante. Sziasztok. Ja, nyugi, csak még itt még mindig getvás vagyok. De nem tudom, mik vannak itt, valami menjen ezek közül, amiket küldtetek. Súlyka küldte? Úgy volt valami, nem is az, hogy balhé ebből, de volt valami kis belőle, hogy elszaporodtak ezek a videók, ahol a benszülöttek vidámparkot csinálnak a földbe. Vízi vidámparkot, és hogy mennyire kamu az összes. És hogy akkor melyikik az igaziak. Ja. Én is úgy tudom. Csak mondom. Szia Szabi. Jó kis misztakos. Ott már nagyon kicsik vannak. Ronos. Aha. Hol a kémény? Egy kérdése van csak. Mire törli a segét. A levéllel. De amúgy valószínűleg megmossa a vízbe. Csalánnal. Hát amúgy gondolom ott volt a kis kis folyócska, azt jó, kimosdja. És akkor ez lesz a szén. Oda néz. A szén. Nyugi. Valóban? Valóban. Szia Twixel. Szemeket eltakarni. De ekkora jószág, genyó. Szia Suhika. Még kis mésztakos. Meg is jöttek elem egy kis faktórióhoz megint. Kajak. Jó, de már... Jó, mondjuk nem tudom, első tudom, hogy mikor a videó. Nem emlékszem, hogy már ilyen, nem tudom, 5-8 év ezelőtt is voltak videói. Mondjuk ezt a videót például összerakni nem tudom mennyi idő, az valószínűleg nem kevés. Gyémánt csákányt én még nem láttam nála. Kölyök. Hát na jó, de onnan tovább fejlődni. Hogyha még így is van, az... Hajrá. Egy jó szív, basszánk, de jó lenne egy jó szívet is összehozni. Csabladi. Hát Cody az... Fosrakás. Ha mondjuk azzal a szén mennyisége meg van egy jó ideig, nem? Már gyorsítsuk azért fel most már. Szia Darko már. Amúgy a feje is tényleg kis, a feje nagyon ilyen ős emberes, nem? Legalábbis ott az volt. volt még itt. Elejére mehet a skip. Ugye ez ilyen Jump King-es...
Thanks, Introcar. That was pretty good.
Jump King-es avardok.
The next award is for best bird. This bird is different from the rest. You told us you find it annoying to chase, but you like how it looks.
Magyar
The
streamerek, de
award
ős
for best
emberek.
bird goes to
Az a baj, nincsen időm semmire
the blue
akár.
bird from Abaddon's Immortal Babe. Yeah!
Nem, én már nem tudom. Ezt a pályát nem játszottam, mert aki ezt a pályát játszotta, az inkább
Thank
nem
you,
játszotta.
Abaddon, for that peculiar blue little bird.
Our next community award is for the
De
best
ezek már
challenge
mióta
map
megígérték az
slash
új
area. And the winner
Jump King
started
online
this
game-et,
trend
azt azóta
and
sincs
is
semmi
referenced
róla.
even to this day. The community award for the best challenge map slash area is of course the next from Introcar's Babe of Ascension. Oh, that's a nice little Easter egg challenge you got us, Introcar. Next, the community award for the best area art. It was a nail biter, but it was close from start to finish and ended with a tie. Although every map has some beautiful areas, the two winners you picked are none other than Heavenly Ruin from Mia's Babe of the Heavens, as well as Abstract Ruin from Introcar's Babe of Ascension.
Ruins.
Ezt nem toltam. Toltam ezt? Nem emlékszem. A másikat azt végigjátszottam. Ezt végigjátszottam.
The community really loves ruins. Before we get into the full map awards, we still have the community awards for the best area gameplay. Again, a close call between two options, the runner-up being no less than Tower of Tartarus from Abaddon's Immortal Babe. But the winner is Abstract Ruin from Introcar's Babe of Ascension.
Ja. Amúgy ez jó kis izé volt tényleg. Annyira nem is volt vészes, ez jó volt.
Seems like Abstract Ruin is really popular in the community. We are now getting into the most anticipated community awards. The next community award is for best map art. Just like the best area art, it was close, but no tie this time. First, the runner-up, that is Introcar's Babe of Ascension. But who has won then? Well, you praised its graphics when it came out, and the winner is Babe of the Heavens by Mia.
Na, ezt nem toltam. Ezt a pályán. Mondjuk jobb is valószínűleg. De toltam, bazzeg. Csak azokon a részeken nem voltam akkor.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That map looks really
Jól néz ki, csak minek.
To the community award for best map gameplay.
Ja, amúgy toltam, az a fás rész, azt elradom. Az a baj, ezek a community mapok, ezek bazdmeg... Mindig rá akartak tenni az előzőre, és konkrétan annak, aki csak visszatért hozzá, azoknak ilyen 200 óra bazdmeg. Na és akkor ebből látszik, hogy konkrétan az első community map lett a nyertes. Még ez is nehéz volt. Ez is
Damn! The community really loves Babe of Ascension.
Maybe
Persze,
I
mert a
need to
többit azt
clear
nem
that
tudta
map
végigjátszani
too.
senki kb.
For the final community award this evening.
Jó, amúgy nem
Best
valószínűleg, aki
Babe. You want to
community-ben
know
szavaztak
which one?
erre, azok
I know
valószínűleg
I
igen.
want to. Very well. You voted, and now you shall receive the answer. Best Babe award goes to... Babe of Dimension! Oh, nice!
Víbek a Jump King-esek.
Yeah, I will fall for that.
And that was the end of the
És akkor
community
itt mi van még?
award.
Now the real fun begins. Introducing the Nexile era. This area begins with a strong sense of foreboding. Thanks to a great transition from the previous area, the difficulty is tasteful.
Mob design.
Inferno by Usagi Yotsume.
Yusagi Yotsume! Igen, ezek már azok a pályák, amiket... Tehát azok játszottak, akik csak ezt játsszák az életükbe. Jó, nem amúgy, de hogy... Tehát, hogy... Nem is. Tehát ez már nem elég a kitartás amúgy. Amúgy, de lehet, hogy elég a kitartás, de több száz óra. Gyorsan ezt nincs, de... Jó. Mi van még itt? Ez mi a tököm?
I bought a Disney 100th anniversary paint with water coloring book for $2. And I thought to myself, what better way to celebrate such a massive anniversary than to corrupt these beloved characters? Disney has been bringing happiness and joy to its fans for many, many years. And in this video, I'm gonna do the
Speed
opposite.
it
I
up.
want to show you what happens when a horror artist transforms these iconic characters into something a little bit less family friendly. I will be utilizing the paint with water elements on these pages to help with the coloring process. I'll also use my Copics from time to time and my Prismacolor pencils to help with these transformations. Plus, I'll be doing lots of line work to add to these illustrations. I challenged myself to fill in every single page in this coloring book. There are 12 illustrations to transform, and I'm going to do my best to create something horrific on each one. But before that, this is your daily reminder to stay hydrated. This video is not made for children. If you do not want to see your favorite characters get transformed into monsters, don't keep watching. I think it's pretty clear this is a horror parody. If you're easily scared, watch something else instead.
De a szemével... Na, ezt akartam mondani, a szemével kéne kezdeni valamit most már, mert még mindig nagyon kedves volt. Hát mondjuk még így is kedves, nem? In the end, I like how this one turned out. During the drawing process, I was a bit worried I was going overboard with all the teethy details, and I was concerned that the legibility of his body would be lost. But I think it came together in the end, luckily. I spent quite a lot of time on the first transformation, and I knew I needed to pace myself if I wanted to complete this entire coloring book, so I thought I'd do something a bit more simple for Mickey Mouse. They say Disneyland is the happiest place on Earth. Mickey sure does look happy. I actually find it Hát amúgy az nem volt olyan horrors, nem?
Until I start adding all the extra details, that is. But until then, I just utilize the colors given to me and mix them around to see what happens. I think that's enough relaxing coloring. It's time to add some horrific details. I start by sketching some rough plans and then inking on top to add more detail. I don't always know exactly what I'm going to do for these drawings, but I've found if I just go for it, sometimes I'll get ideas midway through the drawing. And that's what happened here. I thought having these cool, spiky appendage arms coming up from the bottom of the page would add a really creepy element to the drawing, because you can tell these arms must be really long. You would definitely not want to get skewered by this.
De a szeme, nem?
I added shading to her skin, if you can call it skin, using my Prismacolor pencils. This helps create a protective layer between the paper and the Copic I'm about to apply on top, in the form of blood and gore. The cheap paper used in these coloring books does not
Nekem a szemem miatt még így is izé.
and I've found that putting down a thick layer of pencil creates a waxy barrier where the Copic ink can pull on top of and create cool blood effects. So it's a pretty cool technique I utilize a lot when I do these transformations. But don't tell anyone, it's my secret blood technique. And here's Pocahontas looking like a terrifying monster you might have to face in the Witcher universe.
Hát amúgy baszó lett.
It's time for some more relaxing, paint with water goodness. I sure could get used to this. Maybe I should start a family-friendly channel where I don't corrupt these drawings and just do simple coloring videos like this. Nah, where's the fun in that?
Hegyes fogokat kapott ő is. De a szeme azért nekem még mindig olyan, hogy így nem tudom, ilyen kis...
This was probably my least
hát
favorite
igen.
drawing of the video. I don't mind the concept, but the execution was a bit off, and I'm not trying to blame the paper, but this paper in this coloring book sucks, especially when you're trying to do detailed stuff, and it just looks messy. But that's enough excuses. Let's move on to the next one. How can I
Mint ilyen maszk lett volna rajta, olyan.
I've drawn the alien Stitch with patchwork skin before, all sewn together, so I thought instead this time I would transform him into a cute voodoo doll with a little stitched on heart. I've tried to not make all of my horror art just gory and gross to look at. I think it can be nice having some creepy art, but it's still kind of cute at the same time. It doesn't just have to be over-the-top gore for every drawing. So I try to incorporate that into my videos. They can still be cute but horror at the same time. And that's what I tried to do for this voodoo Stitch. It's a simple concept, but I like how this one turned out. Disney, if you're watching this, why don't you reach out and we can create a horror Stitch plushie together? If you can't stomach lots of gore and guts, literally spilling out everywhere, maybe you should skip ahead. But you've come this far.
Ki van rántva bele? Amúgy tényleg jó volt, de nem olyan horroros volt ez. Ez inkább ilyen, nem tudom, síros volt. Érted? Ki van rántva bele? Személyesen rántom ki a beled.
I wonder if any of you guys picked up on this, but the inspiration behind this transformation was actually Michonne from The Walking Dead, when she's first introduced in the series, and she's got the two zombies on leashes. That was just the inspiration I had behind this one. Obviously it's not meant to look exactly like that, but that was the idea. The innocent looking girl with two monstrosities next to her, and you wonder how is she in control. More relaxing watercolour painting for Alice in Wonderland. Such a strange story. I remember being extremely confused and slightly scared. Little Jordan had no idea what was going on. What happens if the rabbit hole was in her own mind? Quite literally. I think I can draw that. Channeling the iconic Junji Ito. I know I may overuse these Junji Ito references quite a bit, but I could not resist myself for this drawing. It just fit too well, and I have fun doing it, so I'm going to draw it.
Ez faszán néz ki.
It's not super original, but who cares? It looks cool. Time for something a little bit different. Finding Nemo drawing. I don't think I've done this before.
Na, jöhetnek vissza fogok meg a csápok.
Anyone who's unfamiliar with that ad probably thinks I've completely lost it right now, which isn't far from the truth. Now when it comes to transforming Nemo, he's a clownfish.
Hegyes fogok meg a csápok.
Extremely high level and big brain, so see if you can follow along. Clownfish, Stephen King, It, Pennywise, horror transformation. It is the perfect idea. Like and subscribe. This is peak horror content here on YouTube.
Ez kis hasz,
I
faszán
think
néz
these
ki.
two could make a cameo in the next Piranhas 3D movie. If they're still making those, that is. Maybe Sharknado stole their audience. There can only be so many ridiculous horror movies about fish, right? I never watched this Pixar movie, I believe it's called Coco. It seems like it's got some pretty good reviews, so I was gonna say maybe I'll watch it, but I'm lying. I'm realistically never gonna get around to it. But for those of you who did watch it and enjoyed it, good for you. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, I'm gonna do a Jeff the Killer transformation. This one's for all the OG creepypasta fans out there who are right about now getting a massive nostalgia hit. They were simpler times back then, weren't they? Excerpt from a local newspaper. Ominous unknown killer is still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, the young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story. A mild trypophobia warning for this drawing. If honeycomb makes you feel uncomfortable, skip to the next transformation. I personally quite enjoy honey on my porridge, so this version of Pooh Bear would always be welcome at breakfast time. Bees are an important part of our ecosystem, and we must learn to house these bees within our flesh. Now that would be terrifying. Imagine if bees could lay their eggs inside of you, and your skin would turn into honeycomb, and you were infested with bees. Doomed to be a living host of the beehive for the rest of your days. I mean, we do steal honey from the bees, so maybe it's time for them to steal our blood nectar. An eye for an eye. Isn't that right, Pooh Bear? Next up is Mickey's sweetheart, Minnie Mouse. I'm gonna give this rodent...
Na, jöhetnek vissza egyes fogad.
And here's Minnie's grand reveal after receiving a signature Jordan Persegati horror glow-up.
Yeah.
Fabulous. For the final page of this colouring book is the overly enthusiastic Olaf. He has such a
Kapázza.
smile, doesn't he? In fact, I think it is infectious. Rabies. Don't get bitten by him. I'm gonna need some ice for this frozen transformation. That's better.
Én is láttam, vagy legalábbis nem rémlik.
I'm about as happy as Olaf that I finally finished this Disney colouring book. Let me know in the comments down below which transformation was your favourite, and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to see more content from me. A massive thank you to all of my amazing patrons for supporting my channel. I couldn't do it without you.
Ja, vártok, most Erza küldött pont egy újat küldött most Erza.
Here you go, Rocky. I know how much you like wieners.
Ez mi ez Enkon
I
beszél?
want to play Pee-wee so badly, but
Ez biztos, hogy föl...
game design choices are making it
Ezt már
very
most fölgyorsítom, és
hard.
ki is nyomom.
I have finally made it to
Tuti.
level 98 in Crucible League, even though my character keeps getting goatsied by the monsters in the Crucible. Speaking of goatsy, look at this MTX that Grinding released up here. I equipped it immediately when I got out of the mystery box. We are over a week into the league, and the first two patches have come out to address the Crucible League tuning, but so far it hasn't been enough. Feels kind of weird making this video, as historically, if you look at my Twitch stuff and my YouTube stuff, I'm usually a Grinding Gear Games dick rider, for the most part. So for those guys that just want TLDR, you don't want to watch a whole negative video, I don't blame you. Here it is. For the vast majority of players, playing Crucible will feel like you're playing Standard, but even harder. It is a culmination of a pattern of game design that I'm not sure is healthy for the future of PoE. It actually took me a long time to post this because I was reading the Reddit and I saw some threads about how this league has the most concurrent players ever, both at launch and 7 days in, and huge congrats to Grinding Gear for that. That's a massive achievement, but I took a few days to read all the comments on the forums, on the Reddit, on Twitter. I hung out on different Twitch streams, kind of see the vibe, and to gather my thoughts and to see, am I the one that's out of touch? And I don't think I am. The format of the video will be like this. First, I'm going to address all the major and obvious issues with Crucible, just in case there's some new players that are watching who might be out of the loop. And then I'm going to address after that what I believe to be some core issues with Path of Exile at the moment. And you know what? If you're loving Crucible, I don't want to take that away from you. Feel free to skip this Crucible critique because you probably heard all this 100 times before on the Reddit and in-game, and go straight to the part afterwards where I kind of go over the two things that are kind of hurting the game, and you might find more value in my thoughts there. If I could describe Crucible in one word, it would be friction. Before you even get to a map, you have to manage the inventory. So let's hope that you aren't baking a 2x4 item because your inventory that's small just got a lot smaller. If you didn't remember to bring an item, well, that's too bad. You can go back to town, get a good base that you might actually want a skill tree on, or you can just press your show hotkey and find a random item off the ground, and then you can fish for a currency node on that undesirable weapon. There's also issues with the left hand versus right hand management system. How many of you guys have had this issue where if you put on the left side, because most maps these days you're going to go back to town to dump your inventory, you go back to town and you accidentally vendor your weapon. Oh, whoop, that thing's gone that you were baking. Or you dump it in the dump tab and you won't know that you dumped it until you go back to the map and you encounter the Crucible, and now you run into the issue that I just described. If you keep it on the right hand side, well, that's also an issue because there are a lot of identified items that you'll pick up, or you'll identify items in your inventory as you go, and now the leftmost inventory item will be stuck in the Crucible, and you have to either drop that item or move the right hand item into the left side to be able to bake that item. You know, back in Scourge, they developed a really nice system for this where you could have 3 items slotted in a UI. It was called the Dream Furnace, and in Heist Expedition Harvest, you even have these lockers that stored a league mechanic for use. In Ultimatum, when you had to make a decision on something, the entire
Jó van, már bazzeg, te ezt mindenki el tudta volna mondani, nekinek van fél agya van.
In Heist and Sanctum, they even added a nice little slot right next to your gear that you could just put something in. But in Crucible, we use our inventory space. I'm guessing that these past slots or lockers were unusable for Crucible League for one reason or another. I'm not a coder. Okay, sure, whatever. Let's talk about the Crucible button. The length of time that it takes to fill goes against so many systems in this game. They've shown that they do want you to have control of the content and maps, because these days they allow you to pop multiple breaches in a row. You can speed up or slow down and edit monster HP these days if you want to through Atlas points. But when it comes to Crucible, you can't pop other elite content and then walk up right away to the Crucible and engage in that as well. You have to do a full stop. Two things will happen if you try to engage with Crucible while other content is going on, and you will either just die, or you have to do a half bake because you will need to leave the circle to handle the other content that's coming at you. And we all know what happens when you leave a circle in PoE. There's this weird zoom issue where the mouse can just fly off the button. There's a lot of misclick opportunities. Loot filter labels can obscure your vision and cover things more than the main UI already does. I can rattle off a bunch more things that every player will encounter if you just play for a couple days, but you kind of get
Hát ez nagyon szar, tehát amiket eddig mondott, ez bárki el tudja mondani, aki játszott a játékkal már kicsit szomorúan.
All of their power, endurance, frenzy charges, self-buffs if you're something like Corrupting Fever, like I am. I know that they said that they didn't want or expect players to full channel in the Ziggy and Chris interview before the league started, but then why does it take a full channel to reveal one skill tree? Because if you make it to take two channels, then that's just one map where you're actually playing standard. This should really never be the case. The mobs, even after the nerfs, are quite overtuned for a league mechanic. Each rare or unique is many times harder than the map boss, always. And so when you factor in things like map mods, Eldritch altars are affecting your character, it gets out of control really quick. Snakes that do the little LMP attack, alongside our favorite Soul Eater mob that can sometimes appear and just hit you out of nowhere. Let's talk rewards. Historically in PoE,
ez nem is kell eljutni GG-hez, mert GG-nek ezt alapból tudnia kell. Tehát, hogyha ez... Hogyha ezt nem tudják, akkor... Tehát ez nem kell. De biztos, hogy tudják. De biztos, hogy tudják. Biztos, hogy tudják. Tehát ehhez még 2 IQ se kell, hogy tudják. Tehát, hogy... Ez nem kell semmi, hogy tudják azokat a dolgokat, amiket itt elmondott. Senkinek. Tehát, hogy ezt bárki el tudja mondani. Ja, én nem vagyok így.
I'll quickly go over my experience. I tried to do a solo self-found project of crafting a tree onto my weapon. The first day, I spent 6 hours doing maps, about 30 to 40 maps, so I guess not that many. I didn't drop
nem is én csináltam, és nem is fogom.
6 hours of playing maps, I dropped my first geode, I opened it, it was add a skill tree to a unique weapon, not a rare, so I couldn't use that one either. So I resorted to trading and buying the geodes I needed. The second day, I did get a little bit lucky with the geodes, and I spent about 8 hours trying to get a tree on my bow. I tried the 1-2 method, starting with the first 2 nodes, I tried the 3-4 method, tried the 3-4 node.
Csináljuk a másikat, hogy téged némítunk el. Hát amúgy én voltam a legközelebb ahhoz, hogy nyertem versenyt. De hol voltál? De hol voltál? Bújtál, az meg a kibaszott deszka mögött.
It's a pure RNG shit show. Alright, so now let's talk about PoE in 2023 as a whole. Enough nitpicking about the Crucible issues that can be solved with next week's patch, which is definitely coming, right? Right, guys? Patch this week? I believe that there's 2 main issues with the game right now, and the first issue is how grinding your games handles power creep and player nerfs, and the second issue, more importantly, is the game constantly makes you do more or invest or waste more time while getting less than you used to get. I know a lot of people in the comments will say, grinding your games is giving you free power. You get an insane weapon that you couldn't get before. Why are you complaining? And my issue with that argument is that we've had nothing but just borrowed power. Take Sentinel League, for example. Here's some recombinators. Enjoy making items that haven't been seen since Harvest. Have fun. But now the league is over, we're gonna take them away. Scourge, you get to add some cool mods to your gear. It's kind of like Crucible. Oh wait, that's gone too. Like a Calandra League comes along, here's an opportunity to make some insane jewelry. And not only is like a Calandra power creep, but it enables even more builds.
Nem videós vagyok, én gamer vagyok, te loser. Nem fogok videót csinálni.
A little side note, I only quit Calandra League because it was impossible to buy the reflection tiles because no one was playing the game anymore.
Azok csinálnak videót, akik faszlának.
Completely different slot than your regular equipment, so there's no opportunity cost for it, and you can get a keystone on it for free. What the hell? Oh wait, that's gone too after 3 months, along with Original Sin and a massive endgame that rivaled things like Delve, Heist, Lab Runners, stuff like that. And now in Crucible, we get this nice little passage tree that goes on every weapon or shield. And next thing, I guarantee you, that's gone as well. But don't worry though, because next month we're gonna get a scarf slot. If they really want people to use the link skill so much, they just come out with a league where the power creep is that you get to hire one of the masters or exiles and you get to fully gear them out. Then everybody's using link skills. We always get these fun little toys to play with, and then they get taken away. But every patch and every expansion is a very healthy dose of nerfs. And those nerfs stay. Here's a graph I've drawn up in paint. The yellow line represents raw player power. What is the best
Minek csinálnál?
The orange line
Minek csinálnál videót? Minek csinálnál videót valamiről, amiről már valaki csinált videót? Vagy az egyértelműről. Amint van mondjuk humorforrása valaminek, amit azért csinálsz, hogy érted, nem mondjuk nincs belőle, és akkor például nem tudom, hogyan ígyunk vizet, vagy mit tudom én. De tehát, hogy De az. És mivel én nem vagyok idióta barom, nem fogok olyan videót csinálni, ami a két IQ-soknak van. Csinálnak azok videót a két IQ-soknak, akiknek ez szerintük ez nagyon jó. Én az ember vagyok, aki, hogyha valamit meg akarsz tudni, akkor rákeresel, azt megtalálod az interneten, hogyha van róla. Ha nincs róla, akkor okés videót csinál róla. De hogyha rákeresek, és van róla 200 videó, akkor sem értem videót csinálni, az meg ott van a videó, nagyon jó, nézzétek. Ez megint más, hogy mondjuk Gergely csinál egy videót valamiről, mint hogy én csinálok valamiről úgy videót, mint ez.
So now let's talk about the second issue, which is that I believe that grinding your games is making you spend more time or waste more time for not as much reward as you get. I'm going to use Expedition as a
megint nem ugyanaz.
Remembers how massive the nerfs were and how they tried to slow players down starting Expedition. It was kind of the first time you realized that you had to come to a full stop. You had to pick up every single shard off the ground. There's 4 vendors with multiple types of currency each, and compared to previous leagues, it was quite tedious. I believe that Expedition is a good league. I think the rewards are fine. It's one of the best.
Itt van a stream, elmondtam a véleményemet, nem fogok erről most külön videót csinálni, amiről már beszéltem, ami egyértelmű.
Things to slow down players' progression and rewards. There's a thing called the Dream Furnace. It's a inventory for 3 weapons and 3 maps. Scourge is actually kind of similar to Crucible in many ways, because you place an item inside of this box to level it up. There's multiple levels of it, just like there's multiple paths on the Crucible skill tree. It gains experience over time.
Sajnos egyébként igazad van ezzel, mert valószínűleg itt a chaten is vannak két IQ-sok, akiknek kellene ilyen videó, mert senki nem tudja megkeresni az interneten azt a tudást, amit pillanatok alatt meg lehetne tudni. De azoknak meg itt van élőben a stream. Tehát akkor már megint minek videó? Főleg, hogyha van róla videó már.
I don't think that's good game design. We're gonna talk about Arc Nemesis as it applies to this idea. At first, Arc Nemesis has a good game design. A harder monster drops more loot. I can get behind that. While it sounds simple, the way that you would upgrade your monster with these inventory items was really annoying. And it was so confusing because it took a lot of time for you to go research and learn what combinations were with what. And it wasn't just like a few combinations, there was like a lot of combinations. And so you had to have a spreadsheet open with all the combos, and only a few of them were really any good. The rest were pretty bad. The time that you would spend trying to kill this mob wasn't always worth the reward unless it was one of the good combos. There was no sort function, and throughout the league you'll see a lot of players.
Na, jó van. Köszönjétek meg Takásnak és Erzának, többet nem lesz reakciózás. Elmentek erről. Hát hálát adhatnak Takács, viszont te vetted el tőlük, tehát neked nem fognak hálát adni. De hogyha megcipőzitek Takácsot, akkor lehet, hogy visszatérhet a reakciózás. Várj, jött még egy videó, ez az utolsó, amit megnézzünk, jó? Ez elvileg egy nagyon jó videó.
Here you go, Raki. I know how much you like wieners.
Igazából Erzát is lehet hibáztatni. Erza szerintem minden második hónapban elmondja, hogy majd segít a streamen megcsinálni egy-két dolgot, meg így, meg úgy, meg azt, megcsináljuk. Ja. 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 Én mindig azt mondtam, hogy jó, van, menjen. Minden alkalommal ezt mondtam, ez 1000%. Nem. Biztos, hogy nem volt olyan, hogy game. Biztos, hogy nem. Emlékszem is legalább 3 alkalomra. Így mondtad mindig, hogy na a héten. Szóval mi volt a héten? Nem értél rá. Nem értél rá. Erre se, arra se értél rá. Na gyerünk, akkor küldj a ceruza kamerát. Csak az a baj Erza, hogy nálam végigment a unrecorded bandicam. Hm? Úgyhogy te szapod beszapod a macifaszt. Igen, itt van nálam a bandicam. Unrecorded bandicam végigment, amikor írkáltál megbeszélté. Hm? Na mi van? Bandicam ellen már nem mersz kiállni. Ha? Dénes is fővette végig. Várjál, mi ez? Olyan, mint a trónok harca, csak sárkányok nélkül. Mi a tököm? Unyadi?
There has never been a production of this scale in Europe. Well, this saga begins some 10 years ago when my co-producers sent me the thrilling and suspenseful and an extraordinary story of János Hunyadi's life, which is
János.
what our epic saga is about. The biggest challenge was finding the stars who would have both the acting chops and the charisma and the looks and the camera presence to hold the viewers for 10 hours. And we found them all. The casting of Rise of the Raven took about 2 years. And I think the international stars, they kind of the perfect mix to bring this story to the screen in a way in which it had authenticity and contemporary appeal. This is a historically true story, which has all of the intrigue, the passion, the betrayal, the seduction, the courage of something like Game of Thrones without the dragons. But the story changed the course of the world.
Penelope, Telemachus, I'm on my way. Attack!
Hú, nagyon forró volt. Ravenhöf. Hát amúgy biztos van még egy videó, amit nem néztünk meg, de... De kéne. Még nem mondtam, hogy megyek, de jó. Nem mondanám, hogy inkább menjen Sonyiba a Core Mert hónapra azt mondta Erza, hogy hónap nem ér rá. Minek nem volt valami videója? Olyan szempontból igazán Erzának, hogy lehetne ezekről videót csinálni, de hát én magamtól biztos nem fogok. Pierce végül nem lett interjúval szállj. Ja, hát jól menjen akkor. Erza úgyse ér el sose. De várj, le kell patchelni. Van valami patch. Mi? Várjál, Krippari, annak van rootless SS, de ez rootless SSF, nem HC. Azért megnézem még.
I think I'm going to flip the gems actually. Leveled inspiration.
Na jó, bazdmeg, ezek a gemeket keresgélni.
Leveled efficacy. Because most of my damage will be the cold snap, I believe. So I want the cold snap to be higher level. Okay.
Hello.
Is there anything else? I've done Eater, but I've only done them
Hát
on
amúgy
like
rootless-en az.
juggernauts
Jó, nem mirror, de...
like not ruthless. It's obviously easy in those. Not sure what to expect here. The running around part, I think, might be very bad.
Nem láttam az mongol buildjét. Hát nem küldözgettek semmit, nem igaz. Reakciós szobába se. 15 alchemy. Big damage. Balleg. Amúgy? Hát amúgy... Amúgy rossz nézni tényleg, hogy sétálgatni kell. Amúgy nem is rossz a damage annyira, mint annyira nem vészes. Szia Killers. Első szar... Igen. Hát itt nem nagyon tudsz olyan buildet csinálni, Priat, mert ez... Hát itt nem tudsz olyat csinálni. Hát ahogy én nyomtam Erza, azt nem tudom látta, de... Az is kicsit olyan volt amúgy. De amúgy a Quicksilvert azt azért nem, tehát Quicksilver sem nyomja a Crypt, inkább. De itt igazából semmi nem nehéz, az a nehéz, amikor a harmadik vagy negyedik Energizer Spheres van. Nem küldted be. De amúgy egész jó damage van, hát ez még csak a második. A Quicksilvert azt még nem... Na végre. Van 2 neki, fullon van az összes. Jó, hát nyilván nem HC ez itt most, de... De ja, attól még. De várjál már, szerintem ez itt nyer, Rúteszem ez nerfelve van. Ezt most megmondom. Kevesebb labda van, az volt biztos.
And I'm not in his presence when he's up top above. Somehow. The game works that way.
Szerintem.
See?
Na de most elmondtak Quicksilvereket legalább. És ez? Jó. De mondjuk, tehát az elején nem használt egy Quicksilver se, utána meg az egyikbe elhasználta az összeset. Nem az összeset, de ugye a maradékot amúgy. Uha. De innentől kezd nehéz, de itt utána esküzél. Kevesebb labda van. Hát én ezt öltem sima HC trade-en és itt már vagy 9 labda volt 3 után. Ez már az 5. Nyilván a kevesebb movement skill miatt van ennyi. De na, itt már para. Mondjuk az is para, hogy hát meg minden. Na itt ez most már para. Dead. Dead. Az a baj, annyi HP van a bossnak, hogy ezt még egyszer meg kell csinálni. Mondjuk azért egy ja, itt Pantheon sincs, mi? Rútleszem Pantheon sincs, ugye?
Yeah, I got no pots for this.
Hát ez dead. Ez dead. Bal oldalt volt elő.
Easy.
Hát amúgy...
Roll any good? Yes, not bad.
Ez szép volt.
That's really hard though. But yeah, my character's not Cold Dot playing Cold Dot.
Így, csinálsz.
My eyes hurt? Yeah. Microtransaction time? Yeah. I bought a microtransaction skin for my attack, so it would hurt my eyes less.
Igen?
This hurts my
Vagy mit
eyes.
kell nézni?
That's the cost of playing this build.
Ennyi. Ennyi. Szerintem rákeresek ilyenre, és találok ennél jobbat. Tessék rá is. Ilyen mondjuk ezeknek a videói. Tessék Ferenc. Régi béketcsikenes. Várjál, keresem. Ezek a régi, ezek 6 évesek, Jézus. Fú, milyen volt a game. Hát ez eset nem találok olyat, az a baj. Bár filmbasszosat. Nem is Flame Blast volt. Fireball. Live Fireball. Nem találom. Nem. Oh. Hát nem találom azt. Van másikat esetleg? Na mindegy. Tessék, ilyen volt. Húsz másodperces map. Ja.